Alright, so you're watching this video because you want to know how to install the Demonic Revelations mod menu. In this part of the video, I'm going to show you how to install the mod menu as well as required XML files, optional XML files, and strips for normal Red Dead Redemption, region-free, non-game of the year for RGH use. I will show you how to detect and tell if you have the correct ISO version of the game. So first what you need to do is download these tools. They'll be in the description below. So once you have them downloaded, you just want to go into the tools folder, go into Xbox 360 tools, and want to open up Xbox Backup Creator, and then you want to run this program as admin. You can ignore this error. This is a normal error with this program. Just click OK. Now you want to go up here at the top and click Image Tools, then click Image Browser. Once the image browser is open, you want to click File and open Image File and locate your ISO. For me, I have my normal Red Dead Redemption ISO on my backup drive in a folder called RDR Games Tut. You just want to locate wherever you have your ISO and open it. So mine's going to be RDR Normal Clean, and then I'm going to open up RDR Normal.iso. Your ISO name may be different. So before you extract the ISO, you want to go on the right hand side and go down to the default.xex, click it, right click, and extract. You want to go to your desktop. Once it shows here that you're on top of your desktop, you want to right click and click New and create a folder, and you're just going to name it RDR. You can name it whatever you want, just make sure there's no spaces at all in the name or special characters. But if you want to follow this tutorial how I am, just name it RDR. Now you want to open the RDR folder and just click Save. Alright, you can minimize the Xbox image browser, you won't be needing it right now. Now you want to go back to the Xbox 360 tools and go to XEX GUI. You want to go down here to xextoolgui.exe. If you don't see these file extensions, you can look up online how to enable file extensions for Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10. There are a lot of tutorials that show you how to enable file extension viewing because you will need them later on in the video. So right now we're going to right click it and run it as admin. Alright, you can always pop up and click OK. So once you're here, you want to go down here to where it shows XEX and click the little cogwheel. And then you want to locate where your XEX is. Mine's in the RDR folder. You want to click the XEX and just click Open. Once you see it is open here, ignore these small little symbols. This is due to my region and locale being different than what it's supposed to be. But you want to go up here to this little cogwheel with the I symbol. Click down on it and click XEX Basic. Then once it's done reading the XEX, you want to scroll up until you see Media ID. Media ID can be found here, and it can be found up here. Either one will work. You just have to make sure Media ID says 2AAB34E2. If your Media ID does not say this, it means you have the wrong version of Red Dead Redemption to use with the mod menu, and it means the mod menu is not compatible with that version. So you need to make sure you get a good copy of the game that is this Media ID. How you get your ISOs in your games is up to you. I will not be linking any downloads for the game or anything like that. But if your Media ID says 2AAB34E2, you're good to go. Next, you want to go to your browser of choice. And you want to type and search up xboxunity.net. Once you're on this website, you want to go to the search for title and just type Red Dead and click Enter. Then you want to go down here to where it shows updates and click it. And then I'm just going to minimize this and cross compare the Media ID. So we're looking for Media ID 2AAB34E2. As you can see here, 2AAB34E2. We're going to download the highest update. So for here it is Title Update 9. I'm just going to click Download. Then you want to go to your downloads and find that Media ID. So for this one, that title update, sorry, you're just going to drag it to the desktop. Alright, you can close the browser, you no longer need it. Alright, now you want to go back to Xbox 360 tools, and you want to open up the program called Velocity. Go down to UC velocity.exe, right click, and run as admin. Once the program's open, you want to go to File, Open, and click Package. Then we're going to go to wherever you just extracted your title update to. So I put mine on my desktop. It was TU000001 underscore and a bunch of zeros. We're going to click it and click Open. Once here, you'll see default.xexp, DLC patch 0 is Xenon, and patch 0 is Xenon. We're just going to drag up and highlight all three files, right click and click extract all. We're just going to extract this to the folder we had created earlier, which is RDR. And we're going to select that folder. Once it said all has been extracted successfully, you can go ahead and close Velocity. You no longer need it. Now, we're going to go back to XEX Tool GUI. If for some reason you close the program, just reopen it. Make sure you click the cogwheel, go to the RDR folder, reopen your XEX. Then we're going to go down here to XEXP, click the cogwheel with the plus, and we're going to select default.xexp in the RDR folder. And then XEX save location, we're just going to click the little save icon here. And we're also going to save this in the RDR folder, and we're going to name it patch.xex and just click save. Once you've done that, you now want to go to the very top with the little box and the little download button. It'll say patch XEX file with XEXP file. You just want to click that. Once you see this text here, successfully wrote altered XEX, and then it'll tell you to where, you can just go ahead and close this program. You don't need it anymore. Now you can go over here and delete this title update file. Then you can go in RDR, you can highlight and delete default.xex and XEXP. You can right click those to delete those. Alright, now we're going to go back to our Xbox image browser. Reopen the ISO if you happen to close this program. Once you see that your normal Red Dead Redemption is and did match, and you'd have patched the XEX, you want to make sure you click the ISO name, right click, and click extract. Now you can extract this to wherever you want, but I have a external drive plugged in that's for my RGH called spare drive. So I'm actually going to extract it to a folder called RDR Tut Stuff, RDR Normal. Again, you can extract this to wherever you want, but again, I have a external drive for my RGH, so I'm just going to extract it to my RGH. So I'm just going to click OK. And I'll be back when this is finished extracting. Alright, once your game is done extracting, you can go ahead and close the image browser. You no longer need it. Alright, now you want to go to where you just extracted your game. So for me, that would be my spare drive, and it'll be RDR normal. If you see a system update folder here, since you're on your RGH, you can just delete this folder. You don't need this folder at all. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and go back to our RDR folder, and we're going to copy all three of these files. Well, no, first you're going to rename patch.xex to default.xex. And I spelled that wrong. The patch.xex, just make sure you name it to default.xex. You can go ahead and highlight all three of these files, right click, click copy. And then you want to go to where you extracted your game, right click, and click paste. If it asks to replace anything, just click yes. Now, these files you have here, these three, you'll just have these as backup for the time being in case when you build your patches something does go wrong. For normal Red Dead Redemption, we'll primarily be focusing just on patch 0_Xenon to get the mob menu in single player and for multiplayer. I will not be covering how to get the Undead Nightmare DLC version of this game. I will not be covering how to get the mob menu in Undead Nightmare, the DLC version for normal Red Dead Redemption, because I don't have the actual DLC file. Otherwise, I would be covering that, but since I don't have the actual DLC, I cannot cover that in this video. I do apologize. So you will just be using the mob menu in normal single player and obviously normal multiplayer. So once you've done all of that, you're now ready to modify the RPF to have the mob menu. So we're going to go to our tools folder. We're going to go to RDR tools, and you're going to go to RDR Explorer 2. And you can just right click the program and run as administrator. And you're going to click Xbox 360. Once it's opened, you can click File and Open. Now you want to locate to where your game is. And you're just going to open up patch 0_Xenon.rpf. This will be the only file we're modifying today. And then you can just click Open. Once it's open, you want to go to Content, Release, Scripting, Designer Define, UI. You want to click FUI Event Monitor.xsc, right click, and click Replace File. Click these three dots, and locate to where the mod menu files are. So for you, it should be in a folder called like Demonic Revelations version 2.5. However, version number may vary depending on mod menu update. So when you go in this folder, we're going to go into mod menu. We're going to click the normal RDR folder, and it'll have the media ID beside it. Then you're going to click FUI event monitor.xsc and click open and just click replace. Now you're going to right click in the white here and click import file. Click the three dots, and then you want to go back to the normal RDR folder with the mod menu files and import FUI event monitor underscore o.xsc. Just click open and click import. Now we're going to go back to the scripting folder, and here you should see Designer Defined and Gringo. Now I'm going to go ahead and cover how to import custom strips, which are optional files. You don't have to have custom strips, but if you do want to use them for the mod menu, you have to import them here. So just right click and click import file, click the three dots, and then Demonic Rev folder, or if you have a custom script, you'll locate it, but I supplied one custom script for you guys. So you can click custom strips and click video loader. This is for RGH only. And then you can rename this file if you want from DRS1 all the way through DRS10. But for this example, we're just going to leave it named as DRS2 and click open. Then you're just going to click import. Now you have a custom script that can be loaded in-game through the mod menu. Now we're going to go back to the game root. We're going to go to tune. Once you're in the tune folder, we'll click in the white, right click, click create directory and name it ASD. Now you want to go into the ASD folder, right click in the white, click import file, click the three dots, go back to where the mod menu files and stuff are, and you want to go to the required XML files folder. In here, you want to go to the tune folder, ASD folder, and then you want to import every single one of these XMLs. I'll go ahead and show you around 3 of these and how you import them. So you're going to go down the list and click open. Then you're going to click compress since it is a XML file and click import. Then you just want to do that for the rest of the XML files here. Alright, once you're done importing these files, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to import a custom, not custom, but a optional file. This will be the none file. It used to be required, it is no longer required, it is now a optional file. But if you do want to import it, you'll import it to Tune ASD right beside these other files. So while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and right click and click import file. Click the three dots, and then I'm going to go to the optional files, and I'm going to go to the super run none. Now you can modify this none to have super run, which it already has by default. You can make it higher or slower if you want. You can also modify it to have far knife range and far mount range. However, what you want to do is up to you. So I'm going to go into it, go to Tune, ASD, and click none.xml, click open, and click compress and import. Alright, once you're done with that, you want to go back to the root, and you want to right click and click create directory. You want to name this folder as navres. Then you want to go into the navres folder, right click, create directory, and you want to name it territory. Alright, then you want to go into the territory folder, click on the white, right click, import file, click the three dots, and then you want to go back to the required XML files, and you want to go to navres, territory, and you want to import minheightgrid.xml, and just click open and tick compress since it is a XML file, and click import. Right, from this point you're pretty much done modifying this RPF. However, if you do want to install another optional mod for the snow mod or fake flood mod, we're going to go ahead and show you how to do that. So in the root folder, we're going to right click, click create directory, and we're going to name this one MapRes. Then you're going to go inside the MapRes folder. Once in it, you're going to right click, import file, click the three dots, go back to optional files for RPF, and then you want to choose one of these 3 files here for fake flood mod, snow plus fake flood combined, or snow mod. For this example, I'm going to show you the snow mod, which was originally made by Glitch Matrix, which I have ported over to Xbox 360 side, and my fake flood mod, which makes it when it's raining, the ground gets super wet and it looks like it's starting to flood. So I'm going to import that one to show you both in game what it does. I'm going to go into it, go to MapRes, and click swall.xtd. You're going to click open, and then you're going to click compress, and click import. From here, you can go back to root and then just click file, save. You can save as current or as new. That is totally up to you. If you happen to delete files out of the RPF, 9 times out of 10 your RPF could corrupt if you try saving it as current. So if you ended up deleting files and re-importing files and stuff, I always recommend saving as new. But since I didn't delete any files in this RPF, I'm just going to click current. And here where it's going to ask you if you like to sort file entries by offset. I haven't really noticed this to make a huge difference in game on which one you click, but for me I'm just going to click yes, but the option to do whichever one is up to you. You can test with either one, let me know your results, but for me I've always clicked yes. And here, since I'm overriding my current RPF, I'm just going to click yes. Alright, down here at the bottom it'll say file saved. Once that file saved icon down at the bottom has gone away, you can click file and close. And then it's going to ask you if you want to close file. You can just say yes. And then you can close RDR Explorer. Assuming your RPF doesn't corrupt and nothing bad happens, you can just go ahead and close it. You really won't be needing it anymore. Alright, and from here, you can just, if you put it on an external drive, you can just eject your drive and plug it into your RGH. For me, I'm just going to close this, and I'm going to eject my drive. However, if you can put the game on your RGH how you wish. I always just have an external drive I put my games on. If you want to FTP it, that's totally fine too. I'm just not going to cover that in this video because I don't use FTP. Alright, once I'm on my dashboard, I'm not going to sign in. I'm actually going to go to my settings and go to system and go to storage. And then I'm going to go to my hard drive once it loads up. Gonna go to my hard drive, go to games and apps, and then I'm gonna look for Red Dead Redemption. Once in here, we're gonna look for something called like title update. If you see it, you'll just click on it and click delete. If you don't see it, it means you don't have a physical title update to be deleted. Now you can just back out. Once you're hovering over your hard drive, press Y and click clear system cache. Do this at least 2 to 3 times. I'm just gonna do it twice for this example. If you have any more drives plugged in, you want to do the exact same thing. Alright, on this drive I don't have any Red Dead Redemption content, but I am just going to hover over it, press Y, and click clear system cache at least 2 times. Alright, and now I'm down to my last storage device. I'm going to click it and do the same thing. I do have Red Dead Redemption content on here. However, I have no physical title update, so I'm good there. I'm just going to hover over that drive, again press Y and click clear system cache. Going to do this at least 2 times. Alright, now all you got to do is boot the game. You can do that through Xbox 360 Neighborhood, an external program to launch the game, a stealth server based shortcut system to launch the game, or you can do it the old fashioned way and go to My Games and Apps and click My Games. And you can go to XEX menu 1.2, Aurora, FX menu, whatever program that you use on your actual dashboard to launch your games. I'm just going to go to XEX menu to show me doing it off the console itself. Once it asks me to sign in, I'm just going to press the guide button to decline signing in. I'm then going to go to where I have my games, which is going to be USB 1. I'm going to go down to RDR touch stuff, and then I'm going to go to RDR normal. And then I'm going to go down to the default to XEX and launch it. However, a lot of people still don't know this, but if you click left thumbstick in while in a game list, it'll actually just take you straight to the default to XEX that you can launch. Some games have more than one XEX, but for this example, I'm just going to go down to the default to XEX and click A to launch it. Alright, now that once you see the game is booted up, you can go ahead and sign in. Alright, once you're signed in and on the main menu, you can just press start. And for me, I'm just going to go to single player to show the menu working in single player. Alright, once you're in the game, you can see that the mod menu has loaded. I'm just going to open up to show you. And again, menu version number may vary depending on updates to the menu. Alright, as you can see, menu worked fine in single player. Now we're going to go to a multiplayer, and I'm just going to go to an Xbox Live private match. Alright, I'm now in multiplayer. As you can see, the menu is loaded in and working. We're just going to open it and just show you a few of those options here. I guess the first thing I can show you is the snow mod originally made by Glitch Matrix. As you can see, it makes the whole world snowy. Alright, now I'm going to show you the rain mod that I had created. And this one can take a little bit to start happening because it has to create the puddles in game for it to look like a fake flood. So just give it a minute or so.
You're so full of crap.
As you can see, the world is now, depending on weather type, it seems to work better on stormy, but as you can see, the world is starting to do what I like to call a fake flood. All I did was just make the puddle sizes way larger. That's all this is. But it does look pretty neat in my own opinion. I'm just going to go to Armadillo now to show you another example of it. Fake flooding the world.
Milk from that source.
And it'll do this throughout the whole map that can hold puddles. Armadillos are a really good example here. Alright, and that's how you get the mod menu and the extra files loaded in on how to install the mod menu. But let me show you the custom script. So we're going to go to MISC options, we're going to go to script loader, and it was DRS2. As you can see here, it'll tell you some buttons to press. Ignore the text at the bottom, I gotta fix it. But here, it'll show you videos that you can execute with this custom script. So for this one, we're just gonna do Armadillo, or the Armadillo Theater video, but we're gonna do it in Blackwater because that's the theater I have it set to work at. And right now it's waiting. See, the theater is working. And then we're going to do toggle zoom in. Alright, now I'm going to show you what the required XML files are for besides min height grid. Min height grid is so you can go underneath the ground and go into catacombs and whatnot. But now I'm going to show you what the other XML files are for. We'll spawn an animal. Go in menu and click Rideable Animal Bypass. And then it'll let you ride any normal animal you can't normally ride. This mod does attempt to make every animal in every region rideable. However, some MISC animals may not, just due to their region and how they respond. So if that's the case, you can always use the pet spawner to spawn other animals to make them rideable. Alright, moving on to Undead now. Alright, at this part of the tutorial video, I'm going to be showing you how to install Demon Revelations mod menu, as well as the required files, scripts, optional files, and optional scripts and XMLs for Undead Nightmare Region Free Non-Game of the Year for RGH. So, first you want to download the tools down in the description below. Once you have those downloaded, you want to go to your tools, and you want to go to Xbox 360 tools, go to Xbox Backup Creator, and run the program as admin. And you're only using this in the case that you have the game in .iso format, and this will also be showing you how to detect if you have the correct Undead Nightmare version of the game to be used with the mod menu. So we're just going to run the program as admin. You can ignore this error, just click OK. Then you're going to go to Image Tools, click Image Browser. Once the image browser is up, you want to click File, Open Image File. Then you want to locate to where you have your ISO. I have mine on a backup drive in a folder called RDR Games Tut, and another folder called RDR Undead Clean. This is a non-modified version of the ISO. And I'm just going to open this ISO in the Xbox image browser. Then on desktop, you want to right click and create a new folder and just name it RDR. No spaces, just name it RDR and no special characters. You can actually name it what you want, just make sure there's no spaces or special characters, or else XEX Tool GUI won't work with this, which will be another program we'll be using in just a second. So if you want to follow the TUT, just name it RDR. Then when you go back to Xbox image browser, click on default.xex, right click and click extract. And then we're going to locate that folder we just named or created, which was RDR. We're going to open that folder and we're going to save default.xex in there. Now you want to go to your tools again, go back to Xbox 360 tools, go to XEX GUI, and you want to run XEX Tool GUI as an administrator. Ignore this pop-up and click OK. Once this tool is open, you want to click the little cogwheel right here beside XEX, and then you want to locate where we just extracted that XEX. So for us, it was on desktop in the RDR folder. You want to click default.xex and click open. You can ignore those little special symbols in the file path. That's due to my region and locale that this computer is set to. Then you want to go up here to the little cogwheel with an I symbol. It'll say XEX file info, and click XEX basic. Then you want to scroll up till it says media ID. The media ID will be 5B48AF70. If your media ID for Undead Nightmare does not say this, it means you have the wrong version of the game, and you must stop here. That means you must go find another game rip if you got a rip from somebody, or you must go find another place to download it or get it, or buy another game version from GameStop or wherever you get your games. You just have to make sure it says 5B48AF70. If it does, you can proceed. Next, we're going to go to our browser of choice, and we're going to go to xboxunity.net. Once you're on xboxunity.net, you want to go to search for title and just type in Red Dead. Once here, on the tab that says Red Dead Redemption, you want to go down here to the updates and click updates. Then we're going to re-look at XEX Tool GUI, and we're looking for one that says media ID 5B48AF70. Down here, I found it. It says 5B48AF70, and we're going to click the latest title update for this game version, and the last update for this game was update 7. We're just going to download that. Then you want to go to your downloads or wherever it downloaded to, and just extract it to your desktop. Now you can close your browser. You no longer need it. However, keep Xbox Image Browser and XEX Tool GUI open, because you will be needing both of these here in just a second. Next, we're going to go back to our tools and go to Xbox 360 tools, and we're going to open up a tool called Velocity. We're going to go down here to where it says velocity.exe. If you can't see file extensions, there are many tutorials online that shows you how to see file extensions. So search up how to enable file extensions on Windows 7, 8, or 10, or even 11 for that matter. But we're going to right click the program and click Run as Administrator. Once open, we're going to go to File, Open, and we're going to go to Package. Now we're going to go to where we saved our title update, which for us it was on desktop. So it'll be like TU underscore bunch of letters. So we're just going to open it, click Open. And then here you'll see 3 files, default.xexp, DLC patch, and patch 0. You want to highlight all 3 files, right click, click Extract All. We're going to go back to our RDR folder, and we're going to select, hang on, we're going to extract these files to the RDR folder and click Select Folder. And once it says extracted, you can go ahead and close Velocity. Let's see. Alright, I'm just making sure that they all extracted here. Alright, now once you have those extracted, you want to go back to XEX Tool GUI, reopen it if you happen to close it, reopen your XEX in the XEX part. Then down here where it says XEXP, click the cogwheel with the plus, and go back to your folder where you extracted everything, and you should see a file called default.xexp. Just open it, And then down here where it says XCX save location, click the little save icon and name it patched.xex. Alright, then you go to the top with this little box with the download button. It'll say, or the little down button, it'll say patch XCX file with XEXP file. Just click it. And if it did it, it'll say successfully wrote altered XCX. Once it says that, you can close XCX Tool GUI. Now you want to go back to Xbox Image Browser, and if you close this program, make sure you reopen your Undead ISO. Once open, make sure you're clicked right here where it says name of the game.iso. Right click it and click extract. Now you can extract this wherever you want, just make sure you remember where it's at all times. I have a backup drive that I'm actually going to plug in, which is my RGH drive, where I keep all my games from RGH. So let me just go ahead and plug that in now. Alright, once, again, you can extract the game to wherever you want, but I'm just going to extract it to my RGH drive, since that's where my game is, or that's where I store my games. Right, and I'll be back when it is done extracting. Alright, once the game is done extracting, you go ahead and close Xbox Image Browser. You won't be needing it anymore. Alright, now we're going to go back to the RDR folder, and we're going to hover over default.xex and default.xexp. Again, if you don't see file extensions, you will need to look up tutorials online on how to enable file extensions for Windows. It's pretty easy to do, but I will not be covering that for this video. So we're going to be hovering over these two. I'm just going to right click and click delete because we no longer need those. We're going to go down here to patch.xex, right click, click rename, and we're going to rename it to default. Alright, now we're going to go to where we had just extracted our game. And for me, it was on my spare drive, or my RGH drive. I'm going to go to Undead. And if you see a system update folder here, you can just right click and delete it, because on RGH you don't need it, and that's just taking up space you don't need. And we're going to highlight all three of these files from our RDR folder, DLC patch 0, and default.xex. We're going to right click and click copy. Go back to our game where we extracted it, right click and click paste. If it asks you to replace anything, just click replace. Alright, now we can close the RDR folder. It's no longer needed. Now, you can also delete the title update off your desktop unless you want it for backup, but it's no longer needed as well. We're going to go back to our tools. We're going to go to RDR tools this time, and we're going to go to RDR Explorer. And then we're going to right click the program and run as administrator. Alright, and for platform, we're going to click Xbox 360. Alright, from here, I'm going to click File, Open, and we're going to go to where our game is, and we're going to open up patch0_xenon.rpf. Right now, I'll be showing you how to get the mob menu for multiplayer, as well as add optional files and required files. And we're just going to open patch0_xenon.rpf and click Open. From here, we're going to go to Content, Release, Scripting, Designer Defined, and right here we're going to right click and click Create Directory and name it UI. Click Create, go into the UI folder, then we're going to right click, click Import File, click the three dots, then we're going to go to where our mob menu files are. So for me, it's going to be Demonic Revelations version 2.5 Xbox. Version number and folder name may be different depending on update of the menu. So we're going to go to the folder called Mob Menu. Going to go to Undead Nightmare, and right here it'll have the media ID, the one we need. And then we're going to click Multiplayer because that's what we're doing right now. We're going to click FUI Event Monitor.xsc and click Open and just click Import. Now we're going to right click again, Import File, click the three dots, and we're going to go back to the Undead Nightmare folder in the Mob Menu folder and click Multiplayer, and we're going to now import FUI Event Monitor_o.xsc. Then we're just going to click Import. Now we're going to go back to the scripting folder, so that'll be Content, Release, Scripting. And here I'm going to show you how to import a custom script for Demonic Revelations. So if you don't want to do this, you can just skip the step. But right now I'm going to right click, click Import File, click these three dots, and then we're going to go back to where we have our files, and we're going to go to Custom Scripts. You can ignore this folder, this is for a VIP only. But the custom script I am letting you people have is Video Loader. So we're going to go into it, and right here it'll be drs2.xsc. you can rename it to DRS1 all the way through DRS10. But for this tutorial, I'm just going to leave it named at DRS2.xsc. Click open, and then just click import, and now we'll have a custom script loaded up to be used with the minor revelations. Now we're going to go back to the root. We're going to right click in the root, click create directory, and we're going to name this one tune. We're going to go into the tune folder, right click again, click create directory, and name it ASD. Now we're going to go into the ASD folder, right click and import file. We're going to click the three dots. Then we're going to go back to the mod menu files, and we're going to go to required XML files for RPF. We're going to go to the folder named tune, go to the folder named ASD, and now we're going to import all these XML files. So I'm going to import a few to show you how to do them. I'm going to click armadillo, and for XML files, always click compress and click import. And now we're just going to do this for every single required XML file for the tune ASD folder. Alright, and I'll be back when I am done importing these. Alright, once you're now done importing all those required XML files, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to import one of the optional files. The optional file is now the none file. It used to be a required file, but it no longer is. But if you do still want to use it, you can use the none file to have a different type of super run, or you can use it to have far knife or even far mount for that matter. However, the none files as is modified with super run. If you want far knife or far mount range, you'll have to mod that file yourself and add those. I will not be including them. But since we're already in the tune ASD folder, we're going to right click, click import file, and click the three dots. Now we're going to go to optional files for RPF. We're going to go down to the super run none. We're going to go to tune and click ASD, and then we're going to click none.xml, click open, click compress, and click import. Alright, from here, we're going to go back to our root folder, right click, create directory. We're going to name it navres. We're going to go to the navres folder, right click, create directory, and name it territory. Territory, yep. Now we're going to go inside the territory folder, right click, and import file. Click the three dots. We're going to go back to our mod menu files. We're going to go to required XML files for RPF. We're going to go to navres, territory, and then we're going to import MagicRDR.xml. Click open, click compress, and click import. Now we're going to go back to our root one more time, right click, and create directory. Well, you don't have to do this. This is another optional file mod. You don't have to do this part. If you don't want to do this part, you can skip it and just click file and save your RPF. But I'm going to go ahead and show you how to add the snow mod, which was originally made by Glitch Matrix. I had recreated it, imported it to Xbox 360, or the flood mod, or a combination of both. This is just a texture mod, but if you don't want it, you can just click file and go ahead and save. But I'm going to go ahead and show you how to import that today. So right click and create directory, and we're going to name this one MapRes. We're going to go into MapRes folder, right click, import file, click the three dots, go back to our mod menu files, and we're going to go to optional files for RPF. And then you can choose one of these three: fake flood mod, snow plus fake flood combined, or snow mod. However, I want to show you both snow and fake flood, so I'm just going to do the one that has both of them. We're going to go into that folder, go into MapRes, and then you'll see swall.xtd. We're going to click it, click open, click compress, and click import. Now we're going to go back to our root and click file, save. You can click current or as new. I usually click current, so that's what I'm going to do today. Usually the only time you click as new is if for some reason if you had to right click a file in the RPF and delete it. If you ever delete any files out of the RPF when using RDR, I always highly recommend saving as new, because if you save as current in an RPF where you have deleted files, 9 times out of 10 your RPF will corrupt. So if you ever delete files out of RPF, I strongly recommend always clicking as new. But since I didn't delete any files in the RPF and all I did was import and replace, I'm just going to click current, but the choice is yours. Here, it's going to ask, would you like to sort file entries by offset? This choice is yours as well. I've tried both. I've never really noticed a difference in size or gameplay stability or anything. Someone else may know more about this than I do, but I always just click yes, so that's what I'm going to do. Since I'm overwriting the RPF, it's asking me if I'm sure if I want to overwrite. I'm just going to click yes. Down at the bottom, you'll see where it says file saved. Once that has disappeared from the bottom of the screen, you can just click file and close. And it's going to ask if are you sure you want to close. You're just going to click yes. All right. We have just now made it so you can use the mod menu and multiplayer. Now we're going to do it so you can use the mod menu and zombie single player. So we're going to go back to RDR, click open, go back to where we extracted our game. And this time we're going to open up DLC patch 0_xenon.rpf. And once it's open, we're going to go to content, release, DLC, zombie pack, system. And here we're going to right click, click create directory. And we're going to do capital D, and then we're going to do lowercase designer. And then we're going to do capital D defined. So it'd be capital D, lowercase ESIGNER, capital D, lowercase EFINED. Designer defined. We're just going to click create, and then we're going to go in that folder, right click, click create directory, and name it UI. Then we're going to go inside the UI folder, right click, click import file, click the three dots, go back to where we have our mod menu files, which for me would be in my desktop, and then we're going to go to mod menu, Undead Nightmare, and then we're going to click the folder called single player, and we're going to import FUI event monitor _z.xsc. So I'm going to click open and import. Then we're going to right click, import file, click the three dots. Then we're going to go back to the mod menu files for Undead single player and go to FUI event monitor _z1. We're going to open it and just click import. Alright, from here all you gotta do is click file, save current or as new. Again, choice is yours. If you deleted files or anything, I recommend saving as new, as I just said previously. But again, I'm just going to click file, save current. Here, again, it's going to ask you if you'd like to sort file entries by offset, yes or no. Choice is yours. I'm just going to click yes. Then it's going to make sure I want to overwrite. I do, so I'm going to click yes. And then it's going to say file saved. And once that's done, we're going to click file and close. Are you sure you want to close this current file? Yes. Alright, and before we continue, if you did happen to import the custom video loader script, which you don't have to use only that custom script, there's other custom scripts you can probably find or get someone to create or download. I'm sure I'll make some for people sometime in the future to throw out there and include. But if you did include the video loader for Undead Nightmare, there's one more step. Undead Nightmare does not have the video files that the video loader supports. It's originally made for normal Red Dead Redemption. However, if you go into your game, go to Undead, and in the download itself, I will have in the video loader, I will have a folder called Video Examples, which will have the normal video files from normal Red Dead Redemption, and I'll have I might have more than just one custom video. I may have 3 that you guys can use, and I'll also have a tutorial video link down in the description below on how to make your own custom videos for the game. Just keep in mind the custom videos are very limited in size. Well, not size, but they're very limited in I guess size and video length, and I'll have a tutorial down in the description below on how to create custom videos to the proper format to be used on Red Dead Redemption. But for now, I do include a few of the video files. So we're just going to drag those. We're going to go to where we extracted our game, and we're just going to drag those into the root of the game, or copy them, whatever you want to do. Alright, and then once those are in, you can go ahead and put the game on your RGH, or if you put it on a drive, you can go on over to the RGH side. Now I'm going to go back to my RGH. I'm going to sign out. And before we do anything, we're going to go to Settings, System, and Storage. We're going to go to our hard drive. Wait, hang on. My external drive's still loading, so give it 1 second. Alright, we're going to go to our hard drive, going to go to Games and Apps, then we're going to search for Red Dead Redemption. Alright, then you're going to look in here for a physical title update. If you see anything that's called title update, you're just going to click it and click delete. If you don't see one, you're good to go back. Then when you're hovering over your hard drive, you're going to press Y and click clear system cache. You want to do this at least 2 times. Alright, now we're going to go down to our next storage device, go inside of it, go to Games and Apps. If you have Red Dead Redemption here, you're going to check it for a title update and delete it. However, I don't have any Red Dead Redemption content on here, so I'm going to back out. I'm going to hover over this drive and click Y, click Clear System Cache 2 times. Alright, I do have another drive in here, so I'm going to do the same thing for it. I'm going to go to Games and Apps. I do have Red Dead Redemption content on here, so I'm going to go in here, look and see if I have a title update. I don't, but if you did, you just click it and click delete. I'm going to back out now, and same as before, click Y on it, click Clear System Cache. I'm going to do this 2 times. If you don't have this many external drives like I do, you can just ignore all this. You can just do it on your main hard drive. Alright, from here you want to launch your game. You can do that through Aurora, FSD, Xbox 360 Neighborhood, any kind of external program to let you launch it, stealth-based shortcuts. However you want to launch the game is up to you, but I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way. Go to Games and Apps, go to My Games, and then I'm just going to go to XCX menu. And I'm not signed in here, so since it's giving me a prompt to sign in, I'm going to press Guide to ignore sign in. Then we go to where I have my game, which is going to be USB 1. And then we go to RDR tut stuff and go to Undead. And then you can just scroll down to the default XCX and launch it. Or, shockingly, a lot of people still don't know this, but if you click the left thumbstick in while in a game folder, it'll actually take you to all executables for that game, like it did so. But I'm just going to scroll down to it and just click default XCX and let the game launch. Once you see the game is launched, you can go ahead and sign in. Alright, you can see I'm signed in at the main menu, so I'm going to press Start button. And then I'm going to go to Single Player to show the mod menu working in Single Player first. Alright, I'm now in Undead Single Player. As you can see, the mod menu did load in. So I'm just going to open it to show you. So you can see, version 2.5, free version. Alright, now I'm going to go to Multiplayer and show the menu working in Multiplayer. Alright, I'm now loaded into multiplayer on Undead, on Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare. As you can see, the menu did load in, and now I'm just going to open it to show you that it does work. There we go. Alright, I am going to show you a few of these mods and what they did. So the first thing I'm going to show you is most of the required XML files, which were for the animal writable bypass. So I'm just going to show you that now. I'm going to go to my MISC options here and just click on Write Animal Bypass.
You shoot so bad,
and I got to teleport that guy back to me.
Drinking bold milk from that source.
Give me a second, I'll show you. I guess a dog will do just fine. If I can show the bear, I'm going to. Alright, now you can see, Write Animal Bypass files working just fine. Alright. And now I'm going to show you a few of the optional mods. Now the min height grid file was, it's a very important file. The reason you had to import it is because the mod menu has been redone and recoded to support that file. So it is needed. If you didn't import it, then you need to go back and actually import that file, or else the spawning stuff in the game won't be so good. But now I'm just going to go to weather options. to show you the snow mod and everything. But first I'm going to freeze weather and freeze time. Okay. I'm going to show you the snow mod, which was originally made by Glitch Matrix, that I have ported over to Xbox 360 and actually recreated because I couldn't actually find the original file. As you can see, it makes the whole world snowy. Alright, and now I'm going to show you the flood mod. This one can take a little while to start working, but I am going to show you the flood mod that I created. It's a fake flood. I'm just going to put it on Stormy because it works best on Stormy. So when puddles start getting created, you get left with giant puddles. As you can see here. Then this was an optional mod, so if you didn't install it, that's fine. And now I'm just going to go to Armadillo to show Armadillo what it looks like when it's flooded, or fake flooded.
I have hunted half-dead elves that smell and look better than you.
And it looks really good in Armadillo. Alright, and if you happen to import the one of my custom scripts for the video loader, I'll now showcase that and how it works. So we're going to go to MISC options. We're going to go to our script loader. And this may be different depending on menu version. The script loader may be somewhere else or coded differently. But since it was DRS2, we're just going to execute DRS2. And here you'll say hold LB plus RB and press D-pad down to open video loader. Alright, as you can see, the video loader is now opened. The video loader, how it works, it manipulates the Blackwater Theater. I did not use the Armadillo Theater because it's so small. Sorry if that affects anyone, but for the custom video loader, we will be using the Blackwater Theater as the main theater go-to. And if you imported the script, the custom videos and the normal Red Dead Redemption Edition videos, you do ARM 00 or Black 00 or Custom 1, or you can play any of these other custom ones if you created them. But for this example, I'm just going to execute and launch ARM 00. And then it's going to wait for the world to load. Just whatever you do, when video loader is loaded in, don't use no-clip or spectate on players. But as you can see, theater is loaded in and playing a movie. And then you can toggle zoom in, which I had to custom code in. It's not perfect, but it's the best I could get. But I hope you guys do enjoy the zoom in feature. You can also press it again to go back to normal. Showing the video loader. Now there is no way to stop the videos because the way the game actually stops the videos is in script. It actually technically reloads the world entirely to stop the video from loading. There is a native to toggle the video screen on and off, but that's really pointless. But I couldn't find a good way to stop the videos from playing, so you do have to wait until they're done playing if you do want to play around in the world, or if you want to play another video. Also, the way the video loader works, it only loads Blackwater. If you try to leave in Blackwater, you won't be able to because the rest of the world's unloaded. Alright, but yeah, now we'll be moving on to how to install the mod menu and required files and optional files for Red Dead Redemption for ISO modding. Alright, in this part of the video, I'll be showing how to install the Demonic Revelations mod menu for Undead Nightmare, region free, non-game of the year for ISO modding on a retail Xbox 360. What you're first going to want to do is download the tools in the description below. These are the most up-to-date tools, at least up-to-date enough for you to be able to install the menu. Secondly, I do want to go ahead and say when it comes to ISO modding Red Dead Redemption, it can be kind of a bitch because a lot of the times, especially for those who have been modding Red Dead Redemption ISO modding wise for a few years now, such as myself, you know that creating and modifying an RPF and replacing it in your ISO is hit and miss. Half the time it works great, half the time your ISO just outright corrupts. I'm going to be showing you how to install the mod menu and how to hopefully make it so your ISO doesn't corrupt. I can't guarantee that it won't ever corrupt when rebuilding your RPF, but the way I'm showing you now works a good bit of the time. I do want to go ahead and say this. I'm not going to be showing how to import custom scripts, for the script loader, or how to replace texture files or anything. I actually highly suggest that you never ever do custom plugins for a script loader on retail side, and I also highly suggest you don't replace textures and stuff like that for retail side, because those right there actually highly have a high percentage rate to actually corrupt the RPF. So I'm not going to go over that because I do have some optional mods I will have being supplied with the mod menu, but I do not recommend retail users use them. If you're going to be a retail VIP user for the Josh crack or the version of the Josh menu I'm going to be giving you, I don't recommend trying to sideload it as a plugin because, again, your RPF could corrupt. I only highly suggest you burn another ISO with the mod menu and just that mod menu by itself, and not trying to sideload it with Demonic Revelations. I do apologize that I did have to let you guys know all of that. It's just really a bitch to ISO mod Red Dead Redemption. So I'm just going to be covering how to install just Demonic Revelations. Again, if you're going to be using a Josh crack, if you're a VIP user, I strongly recommend not sideloading it as a plugin. Just use it as a standalone mod, which means burn a separate disk for the Josh menu. And I recommend that on retail side if you're going to use, even if it's not Demonic Revelations or Josh's menu or James's private menu, even if it's someone else's mod menu they make down the line, I recommend also using it as a standalone. I'll never recommend sideloading and having a bunch of custom plugins in your RPF, because your RPF sadly can corrupt. But today I'll be showing you how to install the Demonic Revelations mod menu and hopefully how to bypass corrupting your ISO. So first, again, you want to download the tools in the description below. Once you have them, you want to open them. And the first thing you want to do is go to Xbox 360 Tools and open up Xbox Backup Creator. What we're doing here is I'm going to be opening the ISO and showing you how to detect if you have the correct ISO version. So I'm going to right click the program and click Run as Administrator and just click Yes. You can ignore this error and just click OK. Now we're going to go to Image Tools, Image Browser. Once we're in the Image Browser, we're going to click File, Open. Now you just want to go to wherever your ISO is. I have mine on a backup drive that I use for my X key. So I'm going to go to my games folder and I'm going to go to RDR TUT, which is where I have this ISO for this tutorial. Then I'm just going to open it. And the first two things you want to do, or the first thing you want to do, is extract the default.xex. I recommend you create a folder on your desktop called RDR. With no spaces or anything, just name it RDR. In here I have a backup RPF and a RPF that I have that's working, because I did try to record this video a few times and it did end up corrupting my RPF, but this is a backup RPF I have here that's a working one. But yeah, just create you a folder on desktop called RDR. Go ahead and click the default.xex in Image Browser and click Extract, and we're just going to extract it to the RDR folder we had just created. Then we're just going to save it in there. Now you can minimize Xbox Image Browser for the moment, because we will be needing it again here in a second. You want to go back to Xbox 360 Tools in the Tools folder and go to XEX GUI. Then you want to go down here to xextoolgui.exe. If you don't have file extensions enabled, there are a bunch of tutorials online for Windows on how to enable file extensions, because you will need them enabled later on in the video. So if you haven't done that yet, go ahead and look up a tutorial on how to enable file extensions for File Explorer on Windows. We're just going to right click the program and click Run as Administrator. And then just click Yes. You're going to get this little pop-up, just ignore it and click OK. Down here where it says XEX with the cogwheel, we're just going to click that button there, and then we're going to locate where we had saved our default.xex, and it's going to be in that RDR folder we just created. We're going to open it. We're going to go up here with the cogwheel with the eye symbol and just click XEX Basic. Once it's done reading it, you're going to scroll up till you see Media ID. If your Media ID says 5B48AF70, you have the correct version of Undead Nightmare. If it does not show this as the Media ID for your Undead Nightmare version, you have to stop here and go get a copy or find a way to get the correct version of the game. I'm not going to be supplying any game download links or anything like that. I do apologize. If you have to hit up some GameStops or any other, cheap stores to buy Undead Nightmare so you get the right one, go ahead. Otherwise, you can get the game ISO through other means. I'm not going to go through how to get those, but to each their own. Wish you good luck. If it shows 5B48AF70, you have the correct one, and you're good to go. You can go ahead and close XEX Tool GUI. That was just for verification to make sure you had the right one. Now we're going to go back to our image browser. Since we've confirmed this is the correct one, we're going to go down here to RDR2_layer0.rpf and just right click it and click extract, and we're going to extract it to that RDR folder we had created earlier and just save it. Alright, and I will be back once this is finished extracting. Alright, my RPF is now finished extracting. You can go ahead and minimize Xbox Image Browser. You don't need it at the moment, but you will need it later because you will have to replace this file. So I'm just going to minimize it. Now we're going to go to where we had just extracted that RPF. And then in the description below, you'll find a download for Hex Editor, aka HXD. This is the Hex Editor that I use. It's very simple and basic. I'm not going to be including it in the tools download because the website has a lot of different versions of HXD, mostly for different languages. So I'll actually link the website down below for you to go download it there. So you want to go ahead and, once it's installed, you want to go ahead and open up HXD. And then you want to drag and drop the RPF into the Hex Editor. I know this is unknown territory, but don't be scared, don't be frightened. I will be walking you through what you have to do in Hex Editor, but for right now, we're going to scroll all the way down to the end of the file. And down here where it says offset on the left, you want to go down to the very bottom, to the very last offset, and we're going to note that offset down. So I'm just going to actually create a new text document and name it to D67FFFF0. Now, your offset at the very bottom may be different. If it's a clean ISO, it should be the exact same. However, if it's a pre-modded RPF or a ISO someone's modified before, such as my old compilations, the offset may be different, but I do strongly recommend you use a clean ISO when using demonic revelations. So now that we have that noted down, we can go ahead and close the Hex Editor. We don't need it right at this very moment. Now we're going to go back to our tools. And this time we're going to go to RDR Tools, and we're going to go to RDR Explorer. And we're just going to run the program as admin. And we're going to click Xbox 360. Now we're going to go up here and click File, Open. And we're going to locate to where we had our RPF. So it'd be in that RDR folder we created earlier. And you're going to open up layer0.rpf. Now, the only things we're going to be doing in RDR is we're just going to be importing script files and replacing script files in RDR. That's all we're going to be using it for on retail side. So first place you want to go is content, release, scripting, designer define, UI. You want to click FUI event monitor.xsc, right click it, and click replace file. Click these three dots. Now we're going to go locate our mob menu files. So it should be in a folder called Demonic Revelations. The version number may differ depending on update version. Now we're going to go to mob menu, and we're going to go to Undead Nightmare. And since we're replacing just a standard FUI event monitor, this is going to be for multiplayer side. So we're going to click NP. Then we're going to click FUI event monitor.xsc, click open, then click replace. Then we're going to click on the white, right click, import file. Click the three dots, and then we're going to click FUI event monitor underscore o.xsc. I'm sorry, that is a O. So FUI event monitor underscore o.xsc, which was located in our mob menu folder in the Undead Nightmare and then in the MP folder. Once you have it highlighted, just click open and click import. Now we're going to go up here and go to content. Going to go back to release. Then we're going to go to DLC, zombie pack, system, designer defined UI. Here you'll see an FUI event monitor underscore z.xsc. You're going to click it, right click, and click replace file. Click the three dots, and then we're going to go back to our mob menu folder and then the monitor revelations folder. I'm going to go into Undead Nightmare, and this time we're going to click single player. Now we're going to click the FUI event monitor underscore z.xsc. We're going to click open and replace. Then we're going to click on the white, right click, import file, click the three dots, and then you're going to click FUI event monitor underscore z1.xsc, which was located in the mob menu folder in Undead Nightmare and in the single player folder. So once FUI event monitor underscore z1.xsc is highlighted, you can just click open and click import. Alright, and that's all we're going to be doing for the RDR side. So we're just going to click file, save. You can click as current or as new. The 9 times out of 10, the only time you click as new is if you have deleted a file in the RPF. But since we didn't delete a file in the RPF, we're just going to click current. If you try saving as current, if you deleted a file in the RPF, 9 times out of 10 the RPF will corrupt. But again, since we didn't delete any files, I'm just going to click current. I really haven't noticed a difference between clicking yes or no here. It's asking, would you like to sort file entries by offset? This decision is completely up to you. I really haven't noticed a difference game-wise or stability-wise if it really makes all that big of a difference. So I'm just going to click yes. And here it's going to ask us if we want to overwrite the current RPF. Since we are overwriting it, just click yes. Alright, now it's just going to rebuild the RPF, and I'll be back when it's done rebuilding it. Alright, once the RPF has been rebuilt, you can go up here and click File and Close, and click Yes. You can go ahead and close RDR because we won't be using it anymore. Now, you want to go open up the hex editor, and now you want to go open up the layer 0.rpf, and down here you're going to scroll down to the very bottom of the file. As you can see, the offset has changed. The new offset it shows is D66A7F0. That doesn't match D67FFFF0. So we have to make that match. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start here and just highlight all these nulled bytes. And I'm going to go up till, as you can see, one up from this null byte is 3F. I'm just going to go up till to about right here. You don't want to do something like this or something like that. You always just want to copy or highlight and copy straight lines of null bytes like that. You don't want to do stuff like this. You want to do straight lines. So I'm actually just going to go up here straight up underneath the 3F. For you, the value here may be different, or the offsets may change, but I'm just going to click Control C. Now I'm just going to click Control V. And now we're going to pay attention to the left hand side and try to reach D67FFFF0 offset. And this may take around about a minute or so. Just keep an eye on this offset here. And now I'm going to pay attention here. It's A, B, C, D, E, F. I'm going to pay attention here. Oh, as you can see, I went too far. So I'm just going to click Control Z until I get back to the D67 range. Alright, now we're too low. Now I'm going to just do Control V one more time. And we're a little bit too far, but that's fine. We're just going to highlight the bytes and erase one line below D67FFFF0. And then you use backspace, and as long as the offset's at D67FFFF0 and all the bytes are nulled out on this line, you're good to go. Just click File, Save, and here you can let it create a backup if you wish. I'm not going to, so I'm just going to click Cancel. And here it's going to ask us if you want to save all the creation of backup was canceled. You can just click Yes. Alright, now we can go ahead and close Hex Editor. We no longer need it. Also, since you're already here at this far, I do recommend you doing a proper backup by opening the ISO and re-extracting the layer 0.rpf and just extract it to like a folder called backup, or BK for backup for short, or BAC, just extract a better, cleaner version of it somewhere else. You can do it in the RDR folder or wherever you want. The hex edited version of the backup is of no use. You want a full clean backup in the case the RPF for some reason does corrupt. However, if you follow this video tutorial and do the exact files that I have replaced and swapped and imported, you should be good to go. So now we're actually going to go back to the tools. I'm actually going to close all this. We're going to go back to the tools. We're going to go to RDR tools, and this time we're going to open up the normal old school RPF tool version 1.3. You can run it as admin or just run it. Choice is yours. I actually meant to run it as admin, but I didn't, but that's fine. When loading it, you'll get an error. Just click OK. Then you want to click Red Dead Redemption, and then you're going to click File, Open, and you're going to go to your RPF, which was in the RDR folder as previously stated. Now you're just going to click Open. First place you want to go to is navres, and then territory, and then this first highlighted file here would be 0x39F905A1. This is the file you're going to be replacing. So you want to go to your mod menu files and go to required XML files, navres, territory. This file is originally going to be named, I'm just going to go ahead and rename it properly, but when you open this territory folder for the first time, you'll be greeted with minheightgrid.xml. Alright, so we do need to convert this to a offset based name. So if you go to required XML files folder, you'll have a read if using RPF tools version 1.3. So here, if you go down to the third line here, it'll say this equals minheightgrid.xml. So you want to go to your navres territory folder and look for minheightgrid.xml. You want to go ahead and highlight over here the 0x39F90FA5A1. You just want to copy it, then go to minheightgrid.xml, right click, click rename. You want to highlight the extension, which is .xml, and the actual name, and just click Control V of the new name, and it should come out as 0x39F905A1. Or you can just right click and click rename, whichever one you want to do. Right click, click rename, and then you can just manually type the name out if you wish. But as long as it matches this, that's good. So we're going to go back to the RPF tool, right click 0x39F905A1 and click replace. Then we're going to go to our mod menu files. We're going to go to required XML files, navres, territory, and the one that has that 0x name, we're just going to open it, and it's now been replaced. Now we're going to go to tune, and then ASD. And before we start replacing files, we have two more files here we have to name properly. So we have doggerman.xml and vault.xml. So when you go to the required XML files for RPF, and you go to tune, ASD, let's see, this one was, I'm just going to properly rename these, and then we'll go back and undo the naming. So just ignore this part of the tutorial. Alright, so now that I've went back and undid what I've done previously in my when I was recording last, you want to go to where it says vault.xml, which is line 2, and you're going to rename it to this right here. So we're going to go look up vault.xml. No, I'm sorry. We're going to first be doing doggerman.xml. I am so sorry, guys. It's 3 in the morning and I am super tired. So we're going to go to doggerman.xml, and we're going to rename it to this name right here. So I'm just going to copy this name, go to doggerman, and rename it. And we're going to highlight the extension, which is .xml, and the actual name, and click Control V, or you can manually type it out. Either is up to you. It's going to give you a rename about file changes. Just click yes. Now we're going to go down to vault.xml, and we're going to rename it to this here. I'm going to go ahead and copy this name, which is 0xF4198589. Control C it. And then we're going to go to vault.xml, click rename. Going to highlight the extension, which is .xml, and the name, which is vault. Then I'm just going to click Control V to overwrite the name, or you can manually type it out. Either way works fine. Now again, it's just going to give me, file extension stuff. Just click yes. Alright. Now you can go ahead and close this file. You no longer need it. Now we're going to go back to our RPF tool, and then we're going to start replacing these files that we can. So I'm going to start out with pig.xml, right click, click replace. Go to required XMLs, tune, ASD, then we're going to search for pig. And make sure you do replace them with their correct files. If you don't, you will corrupt your ISO. Then we're just going to go down the list here. Alright, and I'll be back when I get down to the none file. Alright, when you make it down this far and you get to the none file, this is now an optional file to replace in your ISO. It used to be a mandatory file, but now it's optional. If you want to replace this none file, all the one I'm going to supply is just going to have fast run. However, you can modify the none.xml to have far knife and far mount range. But as is, the one I'm supplying is just going to have super run. If you don't want to use this file, you don't have to. It just means when you change to a none in game, you get super run, unless you add those custom edits, which I'll let you guys do. If you add those custom edits, it can then have like far knife range or far mount range. The reason it's no longer a required file is because I actually have a super speed toggle in the mod menu itself now. But I'm going to go ahead and replace it for this demonstration. So we're going to right click, replace. And then we're going to go to the optional files for RPF. You can ignore these three files here for retail side. These are texture mods. You can attempt to replace these files if you want, but you may corrupt your ISO, so I'm not going to showcase them for retail side. But if you want to try, be my guest, but your RPF will probably corrupt. So we're going to go down here to super run none, open it and go to tune, ASD, then we're just going to click none.xml and click open. Now I'm going to proceed to replace them the rest of these in order. I'm going to go back to our required XML files. And I was just on skunk. Yep. And this file, it's 9164C4AF. Go ahead and replace it as well. I'm going to go ahead and just record me doing the rest of these, since I don't have that many left. If you're wondering why I'm skipping some, it's because those files I don't supply any of those modded. Supply any of those as modded files. Alright, and then we're now at 0xF4198589. Go ahead and replace it as well. Alright, and this snake.xml, you don't actually have to replace this file. The one I supply is just the standard non-modified snake.xml. The reason I supply it is because the first iteration of animal writable bypass speed files, I did have a modded snake that did move and actually follow players, but it causes a lot of crashing for you yourself, so I no longer have a modded snake. But if you want to go ahead and replace it with another clean snake file, you can. Alright, and from this point you are now done modifying the RPF and the old school RPF tool. So just click File and Save, and this is going to forcefully create a brand new layer 0 RPF, so I recommend just saving this new one to your desktop. And this one, the old RPF tool actually saves RPFs pretty fast. Alright, once it's done, you'll get this new archive saved successfully message. Just click OK. Alright, from this point, the old RPF tool, you just go to File and Exit. And I'm sorry it gets so shrunken on my screen. It's just due to my due to Windows 10 and my TV. Sorry about that. So I'm just going to click Exit to close it. From this point, we can go back to Xbox Image Browser. If your ISO isn't still open up in Xbox Image Browser, just go to File and open your ISO. So the first thing we're going to go ahead and replace is RDR2_layer0.rpf. But before we replace it, we're going to make sure that the new RPF that got saved to our desktop, we're going to 100% make sure it's the exact same file size as it shows in the ISO. So we're going to go open up Hex Editor one last time, and we're going to go ahead and scroll down to the bottom of this and just make sure that the offset does say what it needs to say. And it's supposed to say D67FFFF0. That matches. You can close Hex Editor. Now you can pay attention to this file size, which is 3598712.832. We're just going to go over here to our RPF, right click and click Properties. And right here where it says size, we're going to make sure that matches 3598712.832. It does match, so we're good to go ahead and replace it. So you want to highlight the RDR2_layer0.rpf in the ISO, right click, click Replace, and then locate where you just saved the new layer 0 RPF, which is on our desktop now. I'm going to click it and click Open, and then I'll be back when this is done replacing. Alright, once the layer 0.rpf has been replaced, this next step is optional. You don't have to do it, but from ISO modding days and through the ages of ISO modding, sometimes this little trick does help to save the ISO from corrupting, sometimes it doesn't. I don't do this very often, but for Red Dead Redemption, I do this a lot. So if you remember, we extracted the default.xcx. If you still have that, which I hope you haven't deleted it, but I still have it in my RDR folder, which is good. So I'm just going to go ahead and right click default.xcx and click Replace. And then we're going to go to our RDR folder where we had saved it at the very beginning of the tutorial. Click it and click Open, and it's just going to replace the default.xcx with a clean XCX. This XCX has never been modified, because if it did, it wouldn't work on retail. So that little trick there sometimes saves the ISO from corrupting. A lot of the old school ISO modders do this. They used to do it a lot for World at War, at least, anyways. But that was an optional step. You did not have to do that if you didn't want to. But for me, my sake of my peace of mind, I went ahead and did it. So once we have those two files replaced, we're going to click File and Close. All right. Now, I would actually strongly probably recommend testing the ISO on Xenia. I don't have it installed, so I'm not going to run through that. You can also go ahead and, if you have an X key, especially if you're a mod shop, seller or anything like that, when creating ISOs, it's always good to have an X key. You can't really find them anymore, but for those people that have X keys and that are going to be quote-unquote helping people install the mod menu and stuff, I strongly recommend always testing the ISO on your X key first and foremost before anything. That way you know the ISO isn't corrupted. But assuming that you think or know that the ISO is not corrupted, or that you know it's going to work, you can go ahead and burn your game and hot swap it or burn it and play on a flash console. Or if you're like me with the X key, you can go ahead and just toss it on your X key hard drive and load the game up. I have an X key, like I said, so I just replaced the ISO on my X key hard drive. So I'm going to go ahead and eject that drive now and go over to my X key side. Also, another thing to note, this is for VIP users only. If you, VIP retail users, if you buy VIP, the VIP version of the mod menu from me, you already know you're going to get a Josh crack, which is auth for you and you only. If you want your own standalone, as I had recommended, don't use plugins on retail side for script loader. If you want to know how to install the Josh menu in another clean RPF for a separate burned ISO or for X key or another game, hopefully you know what I mean. Down below will be a video tutorial on how to install the Josh menu for retail side and use it as a standalone and not as a plugin. Alright, now that we're on our retail side and I have it on my X key, I'm just going to load it up. Well, hopefully it'll load up. And sorry for the blurry screen right now. What I'm doing is I'm hiding my retail gamer tag. You don't really have to see all this what I'm doing now. I'm just going into my games list and loading it through my X key. So sorry for the blur that you see on screen. Alright, I now have it emulated and loading in. And we're going to hope our ISO didn't corrupt. And it seems to be fine, but we won't know till we get in game. So before we actually start playing the game, we're going to go over to our our settings, go to system, and then go to storage. Then we're going to go to our hard drive, click games and apps, and we're going to search for Red Dead Redemption. Alright, you're going to click into the Red Dead Redemption folder, and here you're going to look for any file that says title update or Red Dead Redemption title update or just anything that says title update. If you see one, just click it and click delete. If you don't see one, just back out and click and hover over hard drive, click Y and click clear system cache. I do this around 2 to 3 times. Also, if you're not connected to Xbox Live, you will have to go re-download the title update and put it back onto your hard drive. We're just doing that to make sure we download a clean title update from Xbox Live itself. However, if you know your title update is clean, you don't have to, do all this. I do always recommend clearing your system cache, which usually will delete the Red Dead Redemption title update. But if you don't have a connection to Xbox Live, do make sure that you do go download the title update and put it onto your hard drive or USB through Horizon. I'm not going to go over how to do that because most people should be connected to Xbox Live or should have a way to get on Xbox Live to download title updates for their games. If not, you can always go to xboxunity.net. Make sure the media ID matches, download title update, just throw it on your USB stick through Horizon or Velocity or whatever program you want to use. Now I'm going to go to my other hard drive if you have any in it. I'm going to go back to games and apps and look for Red Dead Redemption. My second hard drive here, or external storage, does not have a physical title update. So I'm just going to click Y on it and click clear system cache. I'm going to do this around 2 times. A lot of people get confused on why I do this. I mostly do this because I'm connected on to Xbox Live at all times. So I do this to clean up any dirty cache files, and I do this so I have a clean title update. But again, if you don't know how to get a title update, go to xboxunity.net, download it, throw it on your USB stick through Horizon, you'll be good to go. So once that's done, we're now just going to boot the game. And once the game boots, it is going to disconnect me from Xbox Live because it has to re-download, of course, as already said, the title update. And sorry if I'm repeating stuff so many times. Again, I am so tired. Alright, and here we're going to hope our ISO is not corrupted. Usually you'll know it's corrupted if this here lasts only 2 seconds and it kicks you to dashboard. That's one sign to know your ISO is corrupted for Red Dead Redemption. And it's gotten to the Rockstar thing, so good to go so far. Alright, I also do want to say I can only show the mob menu in multiplayer through LAN system link because I don't have gold at the moment. I'm not buying gold just to show the menu on retail side. Do apologize, but I'm just not doing that. So first thing we're going to do is show the menu in single player. So I'm going to press start, go to single player, and we will load in. And from here, at this point, you'll know you have a corrupted ISO if it starts loading into single player and it crashes you to dashboard within 15 seconds. Usually by the time it gives you the chapter text, usually you're good to go. Those little sound cues you heard in the background was the mob menu executing. That's why sometimes when starting a new game, you won't see the text to open the menu. But the prompts to open the menus, you just hold RB and click right stick in and menu will open. Alright, we're in single player now. It didn't give us a prompt because it loaded beforehand. So I'm just going to hold RB and push right stick.
What the hell have you been drinking?
The mob menu is working in Undead single player. Alright, and since it got to show that, I'm now going to go to multiplayer. Again, I have to go to System Link LAN. I do apologize because I don't have gold at the moment on my retail console. I don't ever use my retail console anymore these days. The only time I ever play on my main account for Xbox Live is usually primarily just if I'm on Xbox One, which is maybe 2 to 4 times a year. Alright, so single player worked fine. Loading the game to the main menu worked fine. Now, when going into multiplayer, you'll know you have a corrupted ISO if when loading in, if it does an infinite load loop in black screens, or if after 10 to 15 seconds of it loading into a multiplayer game, if the bottom loading text doesn't show up. And another way to tell is if when you're loading in around 10 to 15 seconds in the loading screen, if it crashes you to the dashboard, you know your ISO is corrupted. So here we're going to just hope. Yep, and see how it did that flicker, swapped between loading with no text to free roam loading with text. Sometimes you know you have a corrupted ISO. When it does that swap sequence, the moment it starts to swap, it'll just crash you to the dashboard. Alright, as you can see here, it gave me the sound cue, said launch script, which means we did everything perfectly fine, and it does give me the text and prompts to open the menu. And as you can see, the menu is now working ISO modding wise. Again, the script loader here is going to be pretty useless on the retail side. I do apologize. You can experiment with importing custom scripts if you like. I just do think that you're going to run into RPF corrupting issues, so I do apologize about that. But yeah, as you can see, everything's loaded in just fine. Alright guys, and that's it for the tutorial sections of how to get the mob menu and install it.